All right. It says it's recording. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this workshop on Clipping Magic. So we're going to talk about this software that I found, and I kind of went over in the show a couple of days ago. And you guys, this is interactive. So if I'll share your screen, you share your screen. I'll let everybody share their screen, so that way you can show what you're doing. You can do it along with. I'll allow multiple sharing right now. So if you want to share, you can. I'll choose you. Let you know, see what you're doing as we go along. I will share my screen first, though, so you guys can kind of see. I'm going to show my screen. So I have my screen here. Can you see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, just making sure everybody can see it. So
We can hear you too.
Oh, good. That's good. That's good. That's unusual for me, right? So when Clipping Magic, you can see these are the ones that I did the other time when I did the demo the first time. One of the cool things, like if you look at this eagle, what's so neat about this is, and what I demoed was the actual lines and the fence and stuff. Like you can see, I don't know if you can really tell that because it's hard to see, but I'm going to get as close as I can. So you can kind of see it has the checker box. That's the ones that took it out. And then like right here is the pole.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm taking that stuff out and I hit the red, obviously I don't want this bigger red. I want to make this smaller. The brush down here, I can change it to the 5-point. And what it does is it gives you that opportunity to add this, and I can hit these to take all this out. There you go. Now it just really pulled it in. But I have to be careful because it took that whole square now because it went all the way around it. That's the only thing about getting close that I don't like, because it took out the whole square. I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to hit undo. So you have to be careful on how far you zoom in. It's kind of tricky when you're working around these smaller areas like this. It becomes, a little bit more difficult. But I can show you when we actually get to, I'm going to take this drawing and save it. Actually, I can't save it without paid account, but I'll show, this is a benefit of being in our community, is I can take this, and as Andrew said, down at the bottom, I don't know if you can see my toolbar down here, hitting snipping tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I hit the snipping tool, I can get a new one and take that image that I have, and I can save that. This is one of the cool things. And then when I save it, I'm going to name this. Let me just put it in Google Drive, just in my plain Google Drive, Eagle. And I'll probably have to name it because, like you can see, there's already a bunch of them in there. I'll make this 811 today, so that way we can find it right away when we need to. When I go over to Pixlr and show you how to get those colors and those wings back in on that particular, on the eagle. So you can see that. I'll show you that in just a little bit. But right now, let's do a drawing real quick. I'm going to do one, and if you guys want to do one, I'll share your screen. It's no problem. Let me go to, I'm trying to see, I had it open to that, but because I went away from it. Okay, so let me go to, let's just go find something here. A couple of these, like I said, I already did. But let's get one where, okay, how about Mark Barris's dog, Ginger? We have Ginger there. Okay, so we have Ginger. All we want is the dog. We don't really want any of this stuff in the background and that kind of thing. And there's enough distinction between the tail and the legs. It may pick up all that stuff, and some of this area down here it might pick up. But if we need to, we can draw in between to get that, okay? First thing I like to do, as always, is I change my brush size. I'm going to change it to 10 this time just to see what we can do. And when I'm taking it, I want to go just really outline, but stay away from the edge for the most part. And then I just enough to get the ear, and then I come in, and I'm making this continuous. I'm holding this down. Let's just see if it gets the legs by doing that little bit. I don't know that it will. Try not to stay that close to the edge like I am, but I'm trying to do this with my mouse. Let's just see what happens. Oh, you got to be real careful when you have this big of a thing too, so of a pointer. So let's go to the red. The red should be a little bit easier because I can just sit here and go on the outside. There you go. Look at that. See how it's, I mean, it gave me, look, it already gave me a border practically of the whole thing. That's really nice. And then if I want to go here, take that out. See, it's not getting all of the legs. You can kind of see what it's giving. It's trying to use the algorithm to get everything. So I really need to get down and dirty with the green one. So I make sure I switch over to the green one. And it always gives you this so you can kind of see the demo of what you want to do. It's kind of cool. And then I'm gonna actually change the brush to 5 because it's smaller, and I want to make sure I get these points here. Look at that, how it fixed it right away. Isn't that awesome how it brings that in? I'm gonna actually see how I put a little bit more out, and it just gets that paw. Really quite cool. And that pulled up too much of the pink, but that's where I'm going to use the red to get rid of some of that as needed. So right here, I'm going to use the red too. See how it has a little notch? I don't know if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
That's clear or not. And then I'm also going to take this paw, see if I can get this one, and just add it to that leg. The tail's perfect. Got all that detail. It was beautiful. And you can see over there looking at the dog, it's really coming together well. I'm actually going to get this little toe too, so it pulls in some of that. I really want to get that. So kind of cool how that pulls all that in. Now, what I want to do here is switch back over to the red, and I'm going to pull that in. I'm going to pull it in a little bit more. There we go. I'm getting rid of that. If it's a little too close here, I can pull some of that maybe. I think it's got like a little bit of a gray color, so I'm trying to pull that in. It's really not doing much there. Kind of cool how that just look at that. It just made that paw straight. I just love it. And I don't need much of the shadow here, so I can actually get closer. There you go. I just want the paw. Looks pretty good. If you look at my drawing over on this side, that looks pretty awesome. And I can get rid of some more of that shadow. I can take away some of that shadow. I can pull that in there. Just make it the paw. Same thing with this back one. If I want to take some out the dark shadow and just make it, that might be too much. So I can undo. Oh yeah, there's undo. Okay. And maybe leave some of that, but just kind of take like the edge. Well, got to get closer. Kind of see what I'm doing? See how it's getting away and taking it away a little bit? Just a little bit at a time. Just putting a little line. Oh, too much. Get rid of that last one. There we go. I guess I'm just going to leave that. If I need to, I can take that out when I actually take it over to the Pixlr drawing if I was going to do that. Pretty good. That's not bad. What do you think? Pretty cool. So in the same drawing, one thing that's kind of neat too is I can actually take, and if I want to just get the ball, let's just take the ball. I can get that as well. And then if I want to take out like shadow, this is the hard part that I find is it can't distinguish. There's the ball, but then it takes out a lot of the bottom of the ball when you do that too. So when you're doing and working with shadows, and I think shadows right here, you can actually change like the drop shadow, reflection, cast shadow, and stuff like that. I have not worked with that, so I'm not sure what to do on that. But it's really kind of, that's something you can mess around with and test as you're going. But it's really kind of cool. It's kind of neat. So if I take this red, let's just take away some of that if I can. Just get close as I can. That's pretty good. If I need to, I can go over and I can take that out with Pixlr if I wanted to do that. Kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, it's so easy.
Yeah, that's what I like, is that it's how detailed you really want to get. Now, if you notice, one thing you can do here, if you look, the white part of the tail, it cut off. I don't know if you can see that. So like the white part of the tail, I want to include that. And I messed up because I drew over part of the drawing.
Right.
So one thing that's kind of cool too is you can take the eraser and I can erase this part. So if I take that out, and then I can go back with green, hopefully it'll pull in that tail when I add that part.
Mm-hmm.
See how it added the white part?
Yep.
And I don't even need that outside border then either, which is kind of nice. It just automatically came in and made that work. Now, one thing that's hard to see too that I do a lot of times, like for example, this part of this dog is white and part of these areas are somewhat gray. Well, if you look, those checker boxes are white and gray. That's your transparent area. So one thing that I like to do is put a colored background. Then I can see whether I've got that whole tail or whether I've got enough of the leg and the foot that I want.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually pretty good. That's not bad at all. I might have a little too much right here of the shadowing because it makes it look like a fat leg there. I mean, that's what you kind of have to weigh. This thing's just saying that it's because the colors are similar that it's part of that.
Actually, Michael, I don't believe that's a shadow or anything. That's her fourth back leg.
It might be. It might totally be that. And that's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
it's standing, yeah.
By seeing it like this, you can actually analyze that and judge whether that's part of it. So it's really kind of a cool way of looking at that and getting that in. So yes, exactly. All I'm showing you is you can decide on your own whether you want to hide that full leg back there or if you want to leave that or how you want to do that. By seeing it like this, it just shows you more.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing too is you can bring that ear. It looks like over here that this is part of the like right in here of the ear, that's actually transparent, or the floor behind.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could leave that either way. But what you know, just same thing you would do over here. And remember, don't do it over here. This just lets you move this. That's all that does. It's not going to let you draw over there. But if I can come up here and just put a little bit of red right up in there, it stayed with it. Nice. Look at that. Now the ear, you can see it's flat. That's kind of cool. That's really kind of neat.
And I guess how relevant that stuff is depends on the background you ultimately put it on. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That little shadow on the ball might be perfectly appropriate depending on where you place it.
Exactly. If I throw this in, let's say another scene where it's outside or something, that might work out perfect in the grass. But if it's on the beach or something, it might not, because you want to maybe sink it in the sand a little bit. So yeah, exactly. So it's all relative in how you want to do that and how you want to keep that, but it's going to stay with you. So when I'm done with that, I always change it back to the clear background. And then it's like I said, instead of saving it, what I do is I use the snipping tool. Again, we will use the snipping tool if I can find it on my screen somewhere. Oh, is that it? There it is. Okay. So it pulls up the snipping tool. I'm going to get this one out of the way so I can still show. All right. So there. So you can now see that. I'm going to, let's see, new one. Take it, and I'm going to get that ball and that dog. And then I can save it again. We'll just make this dog. Actually, you know what? So I can find them easy. I'm going to go ahead and name it Eagle because that's where the other one is. Because that way they'll be right next to each other. So
it's an eagle hound, not a beagle hound.
That's right. Eagle.
It's the first dog I've ever heard named Eagle. But
there you go. See, then they're right next to each other. That way I can find them easily. They'll be right next to each other. That's a little trick that I do. So there, that's the snipping tool. I can exit out of that now that I've saved this. So now once
it would be a deagle, I guess.
That's right. Beagle, deagle, eagle. There you go. So if I'm going to open the image from computer, I'm going to go into my Google Drive and I'm going to go find those eagle drawings or misspelled eagle drawings. So here's what I do. This is really kind of cool, and some of the things you can do. This is that part I was telling you about, like that it's clear right here. One thing you can do, and I have to remember how to do a lot of this because each time that I come in, like the clone stamping tool is really awesome.
Yeah.
So what I can do is I can come right here, is I can take a picture of this, and if I hold down the control key, it changes it to that image, and then I go right here. See how it just kind of makes that feather work? Pretty cool, huh? I can take this, if I can get this part, and then stamp it and make it go to like right there. I'm just taking areas, and I can make this smaller. I can make I can zoom in right here. You know how detailed you want to get. You could bring these things in. Again, I'm just taking parts. This is kind of a cool blend right there where I can just pull that, make that a longer feather, make another one right below it, that kind of thing. I'm just kind of eyeballing it and adding that. There's a whole feather right there that I want to add a whole nother one. There you go. I can add that up there. It's kind of cool. Just kind of blending it in, but it's making it look like it's all part of it. It's really kind of neat. It's really fun once you get to doing this. But boy, you can make some mistakes with that clipping tool. And each time, if you notice, I'm pressing that, getting a new part of the image and putting it there, and then pressing it twice with my left mouse. So that's what I'm doing. So I want the darker colors up there and the lighter ones down there. So I'm just kind of keeping it consistent. So that way when it fills in, isn't that cool? Look at that. It's just making that come together and keeping that.
And you probably picked the hardest thing in the world to duplicate is feathers, right? Because they're so
Absolutely.
detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know what? Feathers are more, here's my thing. Feathers are more natural.
Sure.
And so feathers don't always do what you want them to do. I think when we get to the dog, it actually might be a little bit tougher because there's a distinct line around his circles and around his thing or his, things, if that's what we're trying to repair. Or add if there's a fence in front of it, that kind of thing. So yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent, but then also I think because it is feathers, I think it's kind of nice that I have that as an option. So see, I even brought that color from way over here down here. So if I'm going to hit this and make that like that, just kind of keep it right next to it and keep the same colors going.
So
Really
in effect, if you wanted to, and you weren't happy with the coloring that Ginger had, you could pick up another spot from her coat and recolor her in sections.
Absolutely, I could. Yes, definitely. You can definitely do that. All right, so if I have this is a good dark color, but it's got that black dot. I don't really want that to happen, so I can hit undo because that black line, I don't want it to repeat there like that, but I do want below that. So what I'm going to do is here, try and keep the line straight. It did. It kept the line straight, so that was good. So
you're filling in color there now, but right underneath where you're working, you've got the detail of the feathers. So if I want to later maybe pull those details up onto that new color you created, is that going to replace what I've already done, or is it going to what I've already done, or is it going to layer over top of that?
That's a good question. And with the clone tool, like if you take a big area, let's say I take a bigger area and I want this whole thing right up here.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, or even those even if I want to drag them up slowly onto that new color that you filled in, you've used the color to get rid of the bars. So now once you've done that, can I actually pull a detail on top of the color, or am I just going to replace the color with a new?
Gotcha. You're not replacing colors. What you're doing is replacing, like I took an image of this. Watch how these 5 will come up there. See how those 5 came up there? Those 5 little feathers came up here now?
Yeah.
So it's replacing. It's not just adding that color.
Okay. That's
so if I hit undo here, boom. Yeah. So that's why it's important a lot of times when you're doing this too, is you want to be able to, just take small sections at a time, because I want this, but I just want a little bit to where it, where you're feathering that color in, and it's taking those poles out, which is good. So that adds enough there, or the cage, I should say. But yeah, like this dark color, I want it to continue up. Well, that's fine. And then you have color that's light here that I have to blend that somehow. So how am I going to do that? This right here, these feathers right here are lighter, and it's like his mane, like a lion's mane. So I have to be careful. I don't want to bring those all the way down here. I want to continue with this darker color and bring it up. So when you're doing stuff like that, just to make you the perspective right, you kind of just have to, and then there's always a distinguishing point. Like right here, where do I go? Do I go light or do I go dark? And sometimes you have to use both. You have to come in with both to get that blend to come in right. And that's pretty interesting. But if I want, like, let's say this whole section, let's just take this, make this bigger. Nah, it's too big. Let's try 50. If I want to take like this feather, and I want that same thing up above, then all I have to do is get that and boom, there. See how it added a feather up there and made that look really good like that? That's cool. That's what I want, because it still has the black dark below. And then if I want to take this with a little bit of that black and blend that in, see how it didn't pull all the black, because I'm using this brush too. If I was using a hard brush, it gives me a hard circle there. So because I'm using the, what do you want to call that? Feathered, maybe? No pun intended with the eagle. But so let's just look at the other one. Let's look at what Andrew was saying. Let's go open the other image of the dog, or I'm sorry, the beagle eagle. Now he's, like you said, a lot more distinct colors, but if I wanted to draw in like this brown that's here and I wanted to make this all brown like that,
Mm-hmm.
I want the whole leg, even though it's his back leg, we know that, but I wanted to make this thicker to make it look like it's part of that leg. I can do those same things. So if I have control and I bring that over, see how it's filling in that color?
Mm-hmm.
See there? And then I can have it to where it just looks like he's a three-legged dog. Or if I want to undo that, let's take that off, go back here and undo. Maybe I want more distinction here, so I need to somehow get a line in there, make it more clear that like there is his leg, and maybe lighten this color back here. Then I have to do some other tricks trying to get that to make that look more distinguishable as a lighter color. Like you said, Andrew, I can pull one of these lighter colors, maybe even a white, like out of here, or some light out of here.
That, or you could make that back leg thicker, and then up toward the front leg, take all the color out so it's transparent, so it actually shows the separation between the back of the front leg and the front of the back leg.
Yeah, definitely. I can take the eraser tool now. Here's where the eraser tool, if I want to pull this out of here and take these, see, I can just kind of feather that shadow out of there, and that might have taken too much. I can just hit it a lot lighter. Yeah, I mean, that's really fading it. Let's try here. Let's take this out down here by the legs. Yeah. So that's just adding to that. I think I have to do that. Yeah, there we go. Now the eraser will work. It was drawing instead. But like right next to his foot, I can get that. If I wanted to take out a little bit of the shadow down by the paw, I can take some of that out. Kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Really neat stuff you can do. But yeah, this clipping art is just freaking awesome. I love it. I mean, let's take another one. Let's just do, and if you guys want to pull one up on screen, I can put it on the screen. You just tell me. I'll be glad to. Something you're working on or something like that, just let me know. I'll pull up.
That's what I managed to do in 3 minutes.
Okay, let me put you on screen. Make sure that, let me stop my share. And you are sharing. I think I have that selected. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, and you could probably even clean up those edges on the bottom of the globe.
Yeah, I was still working on it when you put the link in and started the thing, so I just stopped it right there. But yeah, you know, it gets like right down in there. You know, I need to get rid of some of this right here. Yeah. And actually, I don't want that to actually go up right about. That's too far.
Yeah, exactly. So you just hit undo.
Here.
Just hit undo. Because you don't want that red over it. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, you know, it is so easy to work with. Whoop, hello, what did I do? I closed something out that I shouldn't have. Sub share. Oh, that's Michael's that I'm looking at now. Where have I gone? There we are. Oh, there we are. Okay.
All right. So let's go to one more. Let's go find one. Let's go to one more. See what we can do here. See if we can find one with other people or something. Let's see what we got here. Something that might be a little bit more difficult. This is when I'm out on my cruise. Got some cool pictures. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Let's go with this one. This is my wife when I standing in front of the MOG, whatever it was called. But if I just want to get the people out of it, you know, or maybe leave the vehicle and the people or that kind of thing, I can do that kind of thing. That's what's kind of cool. So let's just do the people first. I'm going to go ahead and go to, I'm just going to do the people. Boom. Real quickly. I mean, we're doing this real quick just to see what we can do. Oh, that might have pulled too much. Might be too close to the edge. We'll find out. We'll see in just a second. Boom, and just draw a line all the way around. See what happens. Boom. Okay. So yeah, so now we have this and we can zoom in. You move this over and you move on the left-hand side. So it didn't get enough of the shoes. So I need to get my shoes in there. All of my shoes. Kind of cool. There we go. Sometimes you do have to draw all the way to the edge because of the different colors in the shoes as well. Yeah,
it's funny how you're working around your shoes and Sherry's hat is coming into the picture.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's just kind of crazy how.
Are you able to get right up like between your legs and between you and Sherry and between her legs and make that like truly?
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's what.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's what's really kind of cool. So I can get right here, and it starts to learn just by you going with whatever you have there. It learns what to pick and what not to pick. That's what's kind of cool to me. I mean, that where it pulls those colors out. I know, it really is neat. The biggest thing, see, like the different colors in the shoe, though, it's having trouble with the algorithm, how to pick those colors out. So it's having a little bit of trouble getting all the shoes there, but I just did it. I mean, I just pulled in.
Yeah, you got it in. Yeah, I mean, you know how long that would take in Pixlr, and you would never, ever get the brush small enough to get.
Yeah, and you'd have to zoom. Exactly. You'd have to zoom in so far just to make that, get that. I agree with you. That is so true. Whereas here, you can knock out a lot of that ahead of time. See, we want all of that jacket. There we go. We want to get the whole outside of it, but not that. See, so it does that. And then you want to, and that's one thing you learn from being, because these are the same color. That jacket and this are pulling in some of the same colors, so it's having a rough time with that. So that's what you have to learn. And the closer you get, the tougher it becomes to get all those colors. So a lot of those times, Scott, I'm gonna mute you. But hello. And so I want to pull that in. See, when I'm pulling that in, I can get those colors and making that work. It's really kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, see how it pulled it. I like how a lot of times it'll fix things like around the fingers. It pulls that in based on what you're doing.
Can you zoom in on that? Because the fingers look like they're really sharp around your hand.
Yeah, sure. I'll zoom in. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good. You get that. That's perfect, right?
It's good enough for me. I mean, nobody on the naked eye is going to pick that up. You know what I'm saying? That's what's crazy. Now, see, here's where I get the eraser, because you see this green. See how next to her leg it picked up some of the gravel, and that's because because I went over. So if I can go in and erase some of that. Yeah. Now it's probably too far, or I did it too much.
No, it looks perfect.
It actually looks pretty good, doesn't it?
That looks really good.
That's kind of crazy. But then, like right here, again, the red probably went too far over. So let me get rid of that next to there. And look, and it just fixes it. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I just think that's awesome. If I want to bring this up further.
It's those little extra details, though, that makes your image pop, right?
I agree. I totally agree. So, yeah, I can just pull. There you go. If I can draw a straight line, a lot of times it'll pick up on the straight line thing. That's what's so cool in what it's picking up and everything. That's what's so neat to me. See, like here, how detailed I want to get around these shoes. Her shoes covered up by her pant leg. That's why that looks really different. Doesn't look like the boots.
Mm-hmm.
So over here, that looks kind of deceiving. But I can add or whatever as I need to. I mean, I can round that out, hopefully. See, like that. So it pulls it more in, makes it more round. And picking that color up. Really cool. I love how it does that. It's having a rough time with this dark color behind because it's the same color as her jacket. But like this little bit right here, that person showing through or whatever that is, can try and take that out by drawing a straight line. There we go. See, it made the straight line down her jacket, which is what it was supposed to do.
So would it be worth your time to throw that in Pixlr first, change the color of the truck? I guess the same thing would happen, right? It would just change your jacket because they're connected.
That's right. It would just change that, I think. That's what I think anyway. I wonder if that'll go. Yeah, there you go. There we go. Just pulled that in. Kind of cool.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, this needs to round around the hat. There we go. Much better. A little bit of shadow. So there we go. Pull that hat in now. And again, what I would do here is I would go back down to a view that I can see right here, the whole thing, throw a color in there, background color, just so I can kind of see. Look at that. That actually turned out pretty well.
It did.
That's great.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, if you take the original image, let me zoom back out, the original image and take out what you want. Yeah. And, that far away, those little bit of details that we're missing or whatever around the edges, nobody's going to be looking at that anyway. They're not going to pick you apart like that. That's what's so cool.
No, but the nice thing about getting them is that now you can blow that image up.
Absolutely. Yes, exactly.
Right? You've got more scaling options and all of that stuff.
Yep, exactly. Now, here's what's cool too. Let's say, okay, actually I want to get the truck. Okay. So I want to get the truck. So I'm going to take my eraser, make my brush bigger because I want a bigger eraser. And I want to pull in the truck now. So I can get rid of all this red here because I want that now. And any of the red that I have, I want to pull and do it like this and do it like this. Oops, didn't mean to go that far, but we can fix that with the eraser. Erase a little bit about that. I'm going to change the size to my brush now to back down to, let's use 10 since we have it this size right now. I just want the truck. But I want the tires. Okay, and all of us. I want all of this. This is what I think is so cool about this thing. Is I just drew that. How long did it take me to draw that? And I've already got most of the truck in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's incredible to me. And I keep drawing straight lines to try and draw this in just because it's trying to get...
if you wanted to, you could bring the straight line down behind the cab and across the thing and take that whole top and that lady out and make it like just a flatbed dump truck.
Yeah, like open. Yeah, sure could. Yeah, absolutely.
That's so neat.
Yeah, and anytime you want to do that kind of thing too. Yeah, I got it. Okay. I can try and take out like this comes out. She comes out of the picture. Let's say she didn't want to be seen.
Oh, okay. And they just put trees in for the white.
Well, I don't know if it'll put trees, but I could always.
Well, no, but I'm saying that could be a second step.
Yeah, sure could.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So now I take that person out because she wants to be out of the picture, and then I can blend it or take this one over here like this,
and
where
reduplicate it over there.
Duplicate it over here and do something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, huh? I love this kind of stuff. I mean, this is so neat to me. I want to definitely keep all that in now.
And this one's free to edit with, Michael?
This is
you can't
free to edit with. Supposedly, when you pay for it, it'll automatically download it for you.
Okay.
But you saw what I did with the snipping tool because I know Andrew asked about that.
Yeah. Understood. But what do you have to pay extra to download? Because I presume the download would be a slightly better quality than a snip, would it not?
Possibly. I don't know. $5 a month, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, see, I think it starts at $3 a month, and then it goes, depends on how many downloads you want per month.
Sure.
You get credits. I think it's like 3, and then it goes to 7 a month, and I forget what the highest one is.
Well, I would probably waste $7 a month just trying to get in between the fingers.
Yeah, that lets you do, I think it's like
Great
75 downloads.
That's a great point. I mean, because I probably would too, to be honest with you.
Well, just even the legs, which aren't as detailed as the fingers, in some of the other things, it's really hard to get up into those pointy areas.
Mm-hmm.
So you're always left with those shadows. I know sometimes it's irrelevant because of the size, but sometimes it's not.
Totally agree with you. I mean, that's the hardest part I have just working in Pixlr. That was the hardest part I ever had, was getting into those. I had to zoom it out so far and then get that thing and just sit there and work it and work it. It was just,
yeah, you're working at a pixel level almost.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the reason basically I gave up on doing images and do almost all text for my graphics now, was I just didn't want to take the time to do all that. And this saves a world of time.
Yeah. I mean, you saw how quick we went about doing this and getting this done. I mean, that's what's cool, but to me, that's the coolest thing that I found by finding this really cool thing, was the fact that the time it saves just to get your image started.
Mm-hmm.
That this is a great starting point. Now I can go detail, do whatever I want, find things, if I want to copy and paste this poll, I can just copy it and bring it down and fill all that in. And then if I want to take these trees over here and put them over here, I can start doing that kind of stuff. I can start blending the images and making all that work there. If these seats are the same color seats and everything, I just take that area and paste it over here and work from there. Then bring the poll down and all that kind of stuff. If I wanted to do that, then you would never know that there was a person, there was a person back there, because we took care of that. And that's what's kind of cool. Yeah, that's the fun stuff that you can do. That's pretty neat, though, to be able to get that.
You could probably actually shrink you and Sherry down and put yourselves in that spot.
Maybe that's a very good possibility. Yeah, just cut us off where it stopped right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good detail too, though.
Yeah, that'll shrink them down and put them in the circle on the door and make them part of the logo of the truck.
Yeah, do something like that.
Yeah, it's really cool, Michael. I'm sold just on what you did between the fingers and the legs.
Yeah.
Not to sound like a pervert or anything.
No, but you're absolutely right, because those are the kind of things, those intricacies. That's when I was going through this, what sold me was that eagle and getting rid of the fence, because I knew how to do tricks about that. But that was so stinking cool, and how you could get around, like you said, those small areas that always has trouble. This is one of my favorite ones. This one that I did with my granddaughter. Look at how detailed. See what I had to do to get every part of it. But look at that. I can't believe how that. I mean, I took out this color down here, these right here. That's exactly what you're talking about, in between the legs and the shadows and the different colors. But look how it got like her toes. I mean, just every little thing there.
How long did that take you, do you think?
This probably took me, because I was getting all these lines in here.
Yeah.
It was less than 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did it online.
Yeah, that's right. That one.
Yeah, that was in one of the other tinkering with text things.
Oh, okay.
But that one, I was so impressed how I could, like, it automatically figured out that this right here, this little part right here, was part of this red seat. So things like that is what I was picking up. I was like, oh wow, how does it know? That this bar going across and a little bit of her shirt's coming through underneath. I did have to really draw. You can see right here, I had to draw the green in order to get that, because it was a different color green. I think the algorithm pulled different things. I had to extend out here to make sure I picked up that. But then to get rid of, because of the shadow, I didn't want the shadows on there. I had to pull the reds down here to make this look like a bar going across. It really was cool. I mean, it's really cool once you start using it and doing it, how detailed. And I find that the further zoomed out it is, like when you zoom in, it doesn't get the lines as well, because, and I don't know why, I'm not sure why, but because maybe it's pulling, like you said, remember when I was doing the shoe, it was getting my wife's hat at the same time. Maybe it's pulling the whole image worth of stuff, so then it's the algorithm works that way. But I find when it's like zoomed out like this, I really get a better definitive lines with things work out better for whatever reason. Like this red dot, a big red dot right here, took out all that color in there, but it also left like that red that's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I just love it. So hopefully this is a useful tool that you folks can use, you know, like this with the polar bears that I also did. I think, look how limited and not much that I did, you know, just a few lines, and to pull out all the details that it does, because it has snow back there. It has other white colors in there. I was totally impressed with how that pulled it in. I just thought that was so awesome. I love that kind of stuff. I love that it can get that close and pick out, hey, this isn't the same. Hey, this is the same. Hey, keep this, take this out, that kind of thing. Because some of the sky color, I guarantee you, is right along this bear up here. So how it knows to keep that, it's just awesome. I mean, it just worked out really well, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that kind of detail. Taking all the stuff in the room and limited drawing there.
Well, with the polar bears, it actually kept the shadow, which allows you to put it on different color whites, right? And that shadow will make it blend into a different color white naturally. I think.
Exactly. You know, I think you're right, because, you know, like you can see that it like right here, it kept some of this white around this branch just because maybe it thought it was part of the animal's hair. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how it does that kind of thing. It's just incredible how it pulls that in. Yeah, like that shadow right there underneath the bear.
Yeah, and the snow underneath it.
Yeah, well, and I kept that. I chose to keep that.
Yeah,
exactly. What gets me is the individual hairs on those two babies up at the top. You know, that is so clear.
I know. It's crazy. That's the thing that gets me. How do they get that? How do they know that? You know, I had trouble with some of her hair up here, where I went in and put some red marks to kind of make it look kind of cool, you know, like it was sticking up and go in between. It's just how much you detail, like put all the green up there for all the hairs that work, and then all the red in between. You can take out as much as you want or as little as you want. But this is kind of cool because I can throw this now. I can throw this image into a whole nother scene. You know, if I wanted to put that, you know, whatever, or if I need to take out my wife's watch, which is down here at the bottom, I can take that out too. You know, I can just, that's what's kind of cool. I can take out those kind of things. Oops, not too much. Just have to base it with the green here. There you go. Look at that. That quick. It fixes it up, you know? Love that. Love that. I mean, it's just awesome. Really quite cool. Yeah, there's a lot that it does have and give. Oops, didn't mean to do that, really. That's one thing. I always try and drag it, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I have to do that over here. But yeah, it's awesome just being able to get those things in there. We are at about 49 minutes right now, so I'm going to probably end this as far as this goes. We can talk afterward, but as far as showing this and showing some things and going through all the stuff that I've gone through, hopefully everybody learned a little bit, and hopefully it's a tool that you guys find as awesome as I did. Because it's so cool, the things you can do with this stuff. And the other thing is everybody knows how I love Pixlr, and I use Pixlr for a lot of things. This actually gives you an opportunity to add to it. It really embellishes it, so that way you get the image that you want to use, then go from there and carry on further from that point. That's what I love. I think that anytime you can, because I love getting images or pulling something, or let's say I need something for one of my videos and I need just this part of it. I can go and take that kind of stuff, add that, put that in, and then it works. Sheila says, thanks, Michael. Learn more than I already knew. Good workshop. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. No, that's exactly what I want you guys to get out of these kind of things. This is the benefit that you get. It may be that these little things like this might be worth your $10 a month that you're paying each month. So that's what I want to get out of it. You know, give you something, a tool that I find. Because when I found this, like, oh my gosh, I got to share this. This is so cool. Oh, you bet, Scott. No problem. He says, thanks from me too. Yeah, no, but these little things, sometimes these little things right here are the things that can help you get through a project you're working on or something like that, that can give you that extra thing. So I'm going to sign off. Anybody who this will be put in the community, I'll save it tonight, and then I will stop it here, stop the recording. Thank you for showing up.